Welcome back to the podcast. It's not Doucet, it's not Doucet, it's Doucet. This is the Daily Doucet. So, welcome back. I apologize for the background noise. I am currently driving, and I think I should give you some context on where I'm going. So, I'm driving to San Francisco, California. I was coming from Monterey, California, which is about 2 hours from San Francisco. So I'm not going to be looking at the camera the whole time. I'm going to be looking at the road because that's the safe thing to do. So, where should I start? It's been a while since the last podcast where I had Justin on, and I've really been slacking on the getting guests for the podcast. The best time for me to do it is during the school year, and it's just really not possible. Well, I guess it is kind of possible for me to do it in summer just with different guests, but the majority of my closer friends are at college, and when I go home for break, hanging with them becomes much more difficult, and now that I'm in California, that's pretty much an impossibility. So I couldn't be physically having another guest on the show, so I'm just going to be doing it solo today. So, I bet you're wondering, Nick, why are you going to San Francisco? How are you even in California? You live on the East Coast. So, yes, that is right. I live on the East Coast. I live in southeastern Pennsylvania, about an hour-ish outside of Philadelphia. And, yeah, so I got an internship through a website called Handshake that my school partners with. I know this is popular in a lot of other colleges as well. Handshake's basically like a halfway meeting point for students and employers to get their name out there, and for students to put the resumes on and try and get internships and even jobs. So yeah, I got an internship through that website, which ended in me coming to California. So I am all the way on the West Coast, kind of far from my house, and I drove 6 days, 8 hours a day. And a lot of people ask me, Nick, why didn't you just fly? Wouldn't that have been like easier and probably cost the same amount of money? Yeah, that is probably true, but where's the fun in that? You're just gonna look down on some places, not be able to experience everything that the country has to offer. So when I was driving, I saw beautiful sights. Like, what stands out to me right now, like the first thought that came to my head was Utah. And Utah was like a barren wasteland. There's like deserts, big giant rocks. If I wanted to go to the Grand Canyon on the way there, I probably could have if I went a little out of my way, but I'm definitely going to hit that when I return home. So it was just a beautiful and amazing sight. There are so many states that are beautiful, like Kansas. I passed through Kansas City. I drove through Ohio, a little bit of West Virginia. Like, there was just so much to see, and it was really awesome. So, yeah, I chose to drive, and also, one of the factors that played into me driving was accommodation. So, this internship didn't cover travel or accommodation, so I was on my own for finding a place to stay and for getting here. So, the hourly rate was like $12 an hour, which is like above average for the East Coast. I'm pretty sure the minimum wage in California is $12 though, so they were paying us the minimum wage. And we did get paid time and a half for overtime, and I believe the first week I worked like 72 hours or something like that. So yeah, I was making money, but the cost differential if I were to be staying in a hotel, and to give you some background, it was during the US Open, so everyone's trying to get a hotel in that area, and I would have just been in the negative if I would have stayed in someplace. So the car, the second reason for me driving, this actually is pretty beautiful. Nice little trees here. yeah, sorry for the distraction, but second reason for me driving the car, as well as the beautiful sights, were to be sleeping in my car. So I have like a mattress there in the back with a bunch of sleeping bags and blankets, and I was sleeping out of my car for the nights that I made in the journey. Sleeping at state parks. I did not pay once for the place that I slept, so like people staying in a B&B overnight, they're paying money to stay there, and I slept in my car in state parks, which are public, and didn't have to pay anything. So that was a huge bonus and helps you save money along the way. And when I arrived in Monterey, I was staying at another campsite okay, this kind of sounds bad because it's most likely not allowed, but I was sleeping in this campsite, right? And I'd only arrive past the hours of operation, so like 9 to 5, I think it was like maybe until 6 o'clock. So I'd make sure to drive my car, aka this big truck, in there past the time I knew someone would be at the gate. And I just drove past and found an empty campsite and slept there overnight. And then I had access to a shower. They had warm water in the showers, and they had sinks, bathrooms, like they had everything. So I stayed for free, and it was definitely balling on a budget because I'd be sleeping in a car every night. I'm essentially homeless right now. Like, that's just a reality. But it's been a really cool adventure, and okay, I'm hitting the speed bumps or whatever. So yeah, it's been an amazing adventure, and it's been something like that I've wanted to do for a while. I'm a big travel junkie. I think I get that from my mom. My mom was born and raised in England, and she moved when she was 18 and became a nanny, and then traveled all across the world. And she'd tell me about all the amazing places that she would see. She would like point to a spot on the map, you're like, oh, yep, I've been there. So that, I think, initially started my my fascination with exploring and traveling. And then my freshman year of college, which was 2 years ago, not a full 2 years, but it was the spring semester of freshman year, and I'm going into my junior year, which is my third year. And I studied abroad in Stirling, Scotland, at the University of Stirling, and that was awesome. I mean, just the sights alone were beautiful. And then I got to travel to Italy, Spain, and to see some of my family in England that I haven't seen in years. So that was really awesome, and I'm so glad I did it. If there's anyone watching this who's contemplating studying abroad for a semester or even just a spring break or something, I highly suggest it. The cost might be high. You're going to be paying a lot to stay in another country, but that's expected. I honestly think that the experience outweighs the cost by far. I think about just about living on this earth and what we want to accomplish and do and see, and traveling is one of the big ones for most people that makes them happy. So if you can get the experience, I highly recommend it. It was really awesome. So yeah, I'm driving to San Francisco. So here's some more of the sights. Camping, looks right, some nice little hills. It's very pretty. This whole drive has been an amazing experience, and oh yeah, I got this on my ear yesterday. I cut it on something, I don't know what. I was this is kind of funny. I was actually yeah, this is pretty funny. So I left the tent that I slept in last night in the camping spot that I slept in the night before. So when I arrived last night, which I'd been gone like in the town getting free Wi-Fi at Starbucks, I've been like writing a bit. I started experimenting with ideas for the future and just like mapping out some stuff. And I was gone for most of the day, and I did like a shopping trip, got water, food, mainly canned goods, vegetables, all that kind of stuff. So I get back to the spot, and it's dark by this point, and I'm like rolling up, and I see another camper on the same site. I'm like, oh crap. And my first thought was like, where the hell is my tent? I'm gonna need that. So I parked the car like not in the parking lot, but there was like a road that looped around through the campground, so I parked it there, and I went out on foot and found where the tent was, and they had moved it into like the grassy area outside of their campsite. And I had Tupperware that was drying in the sun because it was dirty, and I washed it with like the running water that they had from the faucet, and it was all just thrown over to the side, which is, I mean, kind of expected. Like if you're paying for a spot, which I assume they did,